this time.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Oh, I had to drop off her books, her Bhagavatam.
Bhagavatam.
Yes, now she's a proud owner of a set of Srimad Bhagavatam. Isn't that right, Archana?
Yeah, whole set of Srimad Bhagavatam. Thank you, Prabhuji, again.
Grace, blessing her home.
Yeah, big bad blessings.
Yeah.
Good.
Okay, so let's start, and if they come and join in, it's fine. So you start right, and then we'll go through the.
Okay. Krishna, 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 Hare.
Archana.
Krishna, 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 Hare.
Krishna, 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 Rakshamam Jai.
Krishna, 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 Paimam.
Archana.
Ram Raghav, Ram Raghav, Ram Raghav, Rakshama.
Krishna Keshava, Krishna Keshava, Krishna Keshava Pahimam. Hey, we are waiting for you to join the Krishna book reading. Haribo.
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 That's me telling Chana Ravinda. Haribo Prabhu. Okay, so let's start where we left off there.
Can we start?
Yeah, was it first of all?
My dear beautiful princess.
My dear beautiful princess, go ahead.
My dear beautiful princess, you may also know that I'm always penniless. Just after my birth, I was carried penniless to the house of Nanda Maharaj, and I was raised just like a cowherd boy. Although my foster father possessed many hundreds of thousands of cows, I was not the proprietor of even one of them. I was simply interested with taking care of them and tending them, but I was not the proprietor. Here also, I'm not the proprietor of anything, but am always penniless. There is no cause to lament for such a penniless condition. I possessed nothing in the past, so why should I lament? That I do not possess anything at present. You may note also that my devotees are not very opulent. They also are very poor in worldly goods. Persons who are very rich, possessing worldly wealth, are not interested in devotion to me or Krishna consciousness. On the contrary, when a person becomes penniless, whether by force or by circumstances, he may become interested in me if he gets the proper opportunity. Persons who are proud of their riches, even if they are offered association with my devotees, do not take advantage of consciousness of me. In other words, the poor class of men may have some interest in me, but rich men have no interest. I think, therefore, that your selection of me was not very intelligent. You appear very intelligent, trained by your father and brother, but ultimately, you've made a great mistake in selecting your life's companion.
Yeah, Krishna is telling Rukmini, let's welcome Nikunj Bhai Namrata, the Cambridge gang. Haribo.
Haribo.
Chana Ravinda from the battle, the man from battle itself. The battle-hardened man of battle.
I've been battling against my body.
Battling against his body. Okay, my dear beautiful princess, you may know that I am penniless. Of course, Krishna is now telling Rukmini, look, I think you've made a mistake marrying me. You've accepted me as your husband, but actually Shishupal was a much better catch. He was a much better catch than me. And, you've definitely made a grave mistake here. And even, I'm penniless, and even people who follow me, they become penniless, Krishna's saying. So, better that you follow somebody else. Better, not myself. Now Marta says, can someone tell me where we are in the book? Yes, Krishna's talks with Rukmini And it's about the fifth paragraph in, roughly, where Krishna says, "My dear beautiful princess." And basically Krishna's making Rukmini, he wants to see Rukmini get upset with him. Rukmini never gets angry, or she's not like Satyabhama. Satyabhama gets angry at the drop of a hat. But Rukmini, she's very quiet and tolerant. And Krishna wants to see Rukmini get upset with him. So he's telling her now that she's made a big mistake marrying him. Because first of all, he's not wealthy, and even people follow him. They become poor. Become unfortunate. If you follow me, you become unfortunate. So go on with the next one, Archana.
So, why Krishna wanted her to get upset before I start? Go ahead, sorry.
Well,
Why Krishna?
Krishna, because at the beginning of the chapter, it's explained
Sorry, I
that
missed that one.
right at the very beginning that Krishna was sitting in the bedstead of Rukmini, and Lord Krishna's with Rukmini are like a perfect husband and wife. They get on with each other. They never argue. They're always happy. When things are like that, sometimes you want to have a change. You want to have a fight. You want to have a good scrap, and a big argument, and they call it a lover's tiff. A lover's tiff, Oh, I've just had a lover's tiff. It's our first lover's tiff. We've just got upset with each other. So Krishna was looking at Rukmini, fanning him. She took the chamara from the maid servant, and she was serving Krishna. And she was such a perfect wife. Krishna wanted to see her in a different mood, you see? So this is what's happening now. Krishna is winding, as they say, winding her up now, saying things to her to make her a bit upset and angry. And, why are you saying this? What do you want to get rid of me? You don't like me anymore? This kind of talks. So that's what's going on. Okay, Archana?
Thank you, Prabhuji. Yeah.
There you go. And now you can carry on.
Okay, thank you. But there is no harm. The mistake can still be rectified, and it is better than late than never. You are at liberty to select a suitable husband who is actually an equal to you in opulent, family tradition, wealth, beauty, education, in all respects. Whatever mistake you may have made, may be forgotten. Now you may talk out of your own lucrative path of life. Usually, a person does not establish a marital relationship with a person who is either higher or lower than his position. My dear daughter of the king Vidarbha, I think you did not consider very sagaciously before your marriage. Thus, you made a wrong selection by choosing me as your husband. You mistakenly heard about my having very excited character, although factually I was nothing more than a beggar. Without seeing me and my actual position, simply by hearing about me, you selected me as your husband. That was not very rightly done. Therefore, since it is better late than never, I advise you to now select one of the great Kshatriya princes and accept him as your life companion, and you may reject me.
There we are. Krishna is now rubbing it in now, So, this is going on because God is a person. Bhagwan is a person. And whatever we have in our character, whatever traits we have, and we all have different idiosyncrasies and characteristics. And one man's food is another man's poison, as they say. So we're all different. But all these differences and all these characteristics, they're all coming from Bhagwan, all coming from him. So he is a real character. You see, he's a real, he's very, very much a mischievous. I mean, Krishna is very mischievous. As a child, he was mischievous, you know, with Yashoda, and he's got mutton all over his mouth, and his mother's asking him, "Hey, did you steal that mutton?" And it's all there. The proof is there, and he said, "No, I didn't do it. It's all here, you know, all the food is here." He said, "Oh no," he said, "what it is my brother Balaram and the other boys, they're trying to get me in trouble, and they grabbed me and they put this all over my mouth. They put the mutton here to make it look like I'm stealing, you see, to put me in trouble." So this is, and Yashoda doesn't believe him, and then she threatens to punish him, and of course then he becomes very fearful and sad, and then so all the characteristics, all these different features of a person are in Bhagwan himself. So you know whatever we see in this world is simply, as Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Mama Tejangsha Sambhava. In 10th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Mama Tejangsha Sambhava. All this opulence of this material world, whatever you see here, that's great. It's a Tejangsha of my opulence. It's simply the fragment of my Tejas. You see what Krishna says. So how great is Krishna? Okay, and then of course Krishna is saying that, you know, usually when people get married, they get married to equals. They don't, you know, you don't get married to someone too much above you, your status, because then you won't get along, or there'll be difficulty. It's like we see with Meghan and Harry. Harry's a prince. Meghan is a regular lady. It's difficult for people from a Shudra background, like Meghan. She's a Shudra. She's not a royal stock monarchy, marrying into the royal family. It will cause trouble. It's difficult to, you know, usually people of equal status, they marry each other. Now, this is what happened with Gandhari. She married Dhritarashtra. Of course, she was a princess from Kandahar or Gandhar in Afghanistan. But Dhritarashtra was blind, so what did she have to do to make herself equal to the husband? Who can tell us?
She blindfolded to make herself blind. Is that correct?
She voluntarily made herself blind. Yes, she blindfolded herself as a it's called samana vrat. You can write this word down, samana vrat. She performed it. Many princesses have done this. Kardama Muni and Devahuti. Devahuti performed samana vrat. And samana vrat means that the wife or the husband, it could be vice versa, will take a vow to not surpass the spouse. So in other words, when people would see Gandhari, they think, oh, look, the queen is greater than the king. Ha 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 ha. Look at the king and queen. The queen is greater than the king. Making a mockery of the king. So she, to make sure that she wasn't seen higher than him, she also voluntarily blindfolded herself. But that created so much tejas in her that she could offer a lot of power to her son during the Mahabharata war. We know that story. So basically, husband and wife they'll come from the same stock. If the wife have more intelligent or more higher in status than the husband, it can be the marriage can be problematic. Marriage can be problematic because the wife the husband naturally wants to be the leader of the family. His psychology is like that, and the wife, if she's trying to be the leader, well, too many chiefs. That's the problem. When you have too many chiefs, it spoils everything. So in the marital situation, one has to be voluntarily accept to be inferior to some degree, for the marriage to work nicely. And that's the same as any organization, or even in music or in acting. There has to be a leader of the acting group, or leader of a musical group, the conductor. Someone's got to be there to lead the way. So this is a little bit about that point. Okay. All right then, Namrata, you can carry on with the next part. Oh, welcome Ramesh and Jigna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Krishna was proposing that Rukmini divorce him at the time when Rukmini already had many grown-up children. Therefore, Krishna's whole proposition appeared to be something unexpected, because according to the Vedic culture, there was no such thing as separation of husband and wife by divorce, nor was it possible for Rukmini to choose a new husband at her advanced age when she had married sons. To Rukmini, every one of Krishna's proposal appeared crazy, as she was surprised that Krishna could say such things. Simple as she was, her anxiety was increasing more and more at the thought of the separation from Krishna.
Okay, Nikunj Bhai, carry on.
Krishna continued, after all, you have to prepare yourself for your next life. I therefore advise you that you select someone who can help you in both this life and the next, for I am completely unable to help. My dear beautiful princess, you know that all the members of the princely order, including Sisupala, Salva, Jaransanda, Dantakvakara, Abkra, and even your elder brother Rukmi are my enemies. They do not like me at all. They hate me from the cause of their hearts. All these princes were very much puffed up with their worldly possessions and did not care a fig for anyone who came before them. In order to teach them some lessons, I agreed to kidnap you according to your desire. Otherwise, I will actually have no love for you, although you love me even before the marriage.
Oh, blinking heck now. I'm sure she's happy to hear this. Hey, Namrata, how would you feel if Nikunj Bhai came out with this one? If Mansukh Bhai came out with that Archana? Oh, blink it out of the blue. Well, we do say out of the blue, don't we? Krishna is bluish. So he's digging in now. Okay, Jigna, carry on.
Prabhu? Prabhu?
Yeah.
This is a question. What's your take on divorce? Like, what's your personal opinion on it?
It's Kali Yuga. Simple as that.
Yeah.
And in Kali Yuga, there's the standards, social standards are very low.
Yeah.
We can't expect the way things are structured. It's structured so that marriage will be either abusive or it will be austere. It will be difficult in general.
Yeah.
We find that in general, around the world, it's a very high divorce rate because things are not done properly. And when things are done nicely, and then before the marriage, there's a careful analysis of the boy and girl's psychological natures. It's whatever the lord of the moon is in each chart, the lord or the planet ruling the moon, whichever planet is actually ruling the moon, that's the psychological nature of the boy and girl. And if those planets are enemies, if they're malefic, then they will clash. They call it clashing. And there will be discord and there will be unhappiness. And it's the same with Bud, with Mercury. If the Lord of the Bud is an enemy of the Lord of the Bud in the other partner, then communications will be terrible. They won't be able to communicate. They'll misunderstand each other. Everything will be agram bagram. And when it's agram bagram, there's all kinds of chaos takes place, and sadness is there, misery, and even death comes in marriages as well. So in Kali Yuga, I'm afraid to say that divorce is a feature of Kali Yuga. That's my understanding.
Okay.
I'm not saying it's good, but better to be divorced than kill someone. Yeah, better to divorce than end up bumping the missus or bumping the husband off.
Yeah.
Because it does happen. If you live with someone and you're both having trouble all the time, someone's going to break first, either the missus or the mister, or they both may explode and bump each other off. It can happen, and it does happen. But in general, when there's a careful, when some care is taken, and the psychological, they look at their Jyotish chart and they think about things carefully, generally they'll get on. And even if in the beginning they don't get along very well, but in the long term they will. And this is the wisdom of the Vedic culture, which Hindu communities, they know this very well. It's very old. Prabhupada's father chose his wife. Prabhupada liked a particular girl. In other words, he fancied her. As a young man, when we're young, we're all fancying each other and flirting around. And Prabhupada liked one particular, but Prabhupada's father insisted he marry another girl that he wasn't so keen on. But Prabhupada's father could understand this is the better choice for him in the long term. And Prabhupada, being very trusting to his parents, accepted their decision. You see. So, is that all right, Nikunj?
Yes, yes. Thank you. That was very
I'm not saying my answer is complete, but it gives some indications.
Yeah.
Indications.
Thank you.
Okay, carry on. No, you've just read, haven't you? Have you read yet, Nikunj?
Yes.
Yeah. All right, Jigna, your turn. Carry on.
Hare Krishna. As I have already explained, I'm not very much interested in family life or love between husband and wife. By nature, I am not very fond of family life, wife, children, home, and opulences. As my devotees are always neglectful of these worldly possessions, I'm also like that. Actually, I'm interested in self-realization. That gives me pleasure, and not this family life. After submitting his statement, Lord Krishna suddenly stopped.
Ramesh Bhai, carry on. What's going to happen now?
Hare Krishna. The great authority Sukundava Goswami remarked that Krishna almost always passed his time with Rukshmani, and Rukshmani was a bit proud to be so fortunate that Krishna never left her even for a moment. Krishna, however, does not like any of his devotee to be proud. As soon as a devotee became so by some tactic, he cut down the pride. In his case also, Krishna said many things which were hard for Rukshmani to hear. She could only conclude that although she was proud of her position, Krishna could be separated from her at any moment.
Okay, so now Krishna's created a huge doubt in Rukmini. Rukmini is Krishna's first wife in Dwarka. She's the #1 queen. Her first son is Pradyumna. Pradyumna is a famous hero of the Yadu dynasty. They had other sons, and she was even favored higher than Satyabhama, and Satyabhama was very competitive. So now she's very, very insecure. She's feeling extremely insecure. Why is Krishna saying this? He's not interested in family and and having a loving relationship with the wife and the children, and he's into self-realization. Is Krishna going to become a sannyasi? Is he going to take sannyas? She's probably scratching her head. What's he going to do next? Let's find out. Jai.
Rukmani was conscious that her husband was not an ordinary human being. He was the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Master of three worlds. By the way, he was speaking. She was afraid of being separated from the Lord, for she had never heard such harsh words from Krishna before. Thus, she became perplexed with fear of separation, and her heart began to palpitate. Without replying to a word of Krishna's statement, she simply cried in great anxiety, as if drowning in an ocean of grief. She silently scratched the floor with her toenails, which reflected reddish light on the floor. The tears from her eyes mixed with black cosmetic ointment from her eyelids and dropped down, washing the kumkum and saffron from her dress. Choked up on account of great anxiety, unable to speak even a word, she kept her head downward and remained standing just like a stick. Due to extremely painful fear and lamentation, she lost all her powers of reason and became weak, her body losing so much weight that the bangles on her wrists became slack. The chamara with which she was serving Krishna immediately fell from her head. Her brain and memory became puzzled, and she lost consciousness. The nicely combed hair on her head scattered here and there, and she fell down straight, like a banana tree cut down by a whirlwind.
So Rukmini has finally succumbed to the intense stress that Krishna's created, and she's actually fallen down now like a banana tree, and obviously she's fainted. She's fainted, and obviously she's her bangles have become loose, which means that the stress has created a tremendous weight loss. So now we can recommend, if you want to lose weight, anyone wants to, don't go on a diet. Just wind up the wife. She'll lose weight like anything. No more jadi patnis out there. They'll all be saved from the overweight problem. Okay, Archana.
Thank you. Lord Krishna immediately realized that Rukmani had not taken his word in joking spirit. She had taken them very seriously, and in her extreme anxiety over immediate separation from him, she had fallen into this condition. Lord Krishna is naturally very affectionate toward his devotee, and when he saw Rukmani's condition, his heart immediately softened. At once, he became merciful to her. The relationship between Rukmani and Krishna was like that between Lakshmi and Narayana. Therefore, Krishna appeared before Rukmani in his four-handed manifestation of Narayana. He got down from the bed seat, lifted her up by her hand, and placing his cooling hands on her face, smoothed the scattered hair on her head. Lord Krishna dried the wet breast of Rukmani with his hand. Understanding the seriousness of Rukmani's love for him, he embraced her to his chest.
Oh, isn't that nice? 1, 2, 3. Oh,
Very bold.
isn't that nice? See how nice God can be. How nice he is. So this is the power of Krishna book, is that we're seeing how just how personal God is. He has full characteristic charitra. There's charita or charitra. He has all the characteristics of a real. No, we say, "Oh, God is there," but we are the real deal here. We this is what's going on, and God is up there somewhere. No, God is the real deal, and we are down here somewhere. That's the difference. Okay, then. Namrata, carry on.
The Supreme Personality is expert in putting a thing reasonably for one's understanding, and thus he tried to retract all that he had said before. He is only resort for all the devotees, and so he knows very well how to satisfy his pure devotees. Krishna understood that Rukmini could not follow the statements he had made in a joking way. To counteract her confusion, he spoke as follows.
Carry on.
My dear daughter of King Vidarbha, my dear Rukmini, please do not misunderstand me. Don't be unkind to me like this. I know that you are sincerely and seriously attached to me. You are my eternal companion. The words which have affected you so much are not factual. I wanted to irritate you a bit, and I was expecting you to make counter answers to those joking words. Unfortunately, you have taken them seriously. I am very sorry for it. I expected that your red lips would tremble in anger when you heard my statement and that you would chastise me with many words. O perfection of love, I never expected that your condition would be like this. I expected that you would cast your blinking glance upon me in retaliation and that I would thus be able to see your beautiful face in that angry mood.
Yes. And not blinking. She wasn't going to do this. She was going to go like, unblinking. Go on, Nikunj Bhai.
Okay. My dear beautiful wife, you know that because we are householders, we are always busy in many household affairs and long for a time when we can enjoy some joking words between us. That is our ultimate gain in household life. Actually, householders work very hard day and night, but all fatigue of the day's labor is minimized as soon as they meet, husband and wife together, and enjoy life in many ways. Lord Krishna wanted to exhibit himself as being like an ordinary householder who delights himself by exchanging joking words with his wife. He therefore repeatedly requested Rukmini not to take those words very seriously.
Okay, now he's doing a U-turn, and he's just, asking basically, Maaf kar jo ke mein tamne disturb kaira. I'm sorry for disturbing you. Coming on, Archana. In this way,
In this way, when Lord Krishna pacified Rukmani by his sweet words, she would understand that what he had formerly said was not actually meant seriously, but was spoken to evoke some joking pleasure between themselves. She was therefore pacified by hearing the words of Krishna. Gradually, she was freed from all fear of separation from him, and she began to look at his face very cheerfully with her naturally smiling face. She said, "My dear lotus-eyed Lord, your statement that we are not a fit combination is completely right. It is not possible for me to come to an equal level with you, for you are a reservoir of all qualities, the unlimited supreme personality of Godhead. How can I be a fit match for you? There is no possibility of comparison with you, who are the master of all greatness, the controller of three qualities, and the object of worship for great demigods like Brahma and Lord Shiva. As far as I'm concerned, I'm a product of three modes of material nature, which impede the progressive advancement of devotional service. When and where
she's frozen out. Jigna, carry on. When and where?
When and where can I be a fit match for you? My dear husband, you have rightly said that you have taken shelter in the water of the sea as if you were afraid of the kings. But who are the kings of this material world? I do not think that the so-called royal families are kings of the material world. The kings of the material world are the three modes of material nature, who are actually its controllers. You are situated in the core of everyone's heart, where you remain completely aloof from the touch of the three modes of material nature, and there is no doubt about it.
Okay, Chan Aravinda Prabhu, you can carry on from there.
You say you always maintain enmity with the worldly kings. But who are the worldly kings? I think the worldly kings are the senses. They are most formidable and they control everyone. Certainly, you maintain enmity with these material senses. You are never under the control of the senses. Rather, you are the controller of the senses. Hirishikesha. My dear Lord, you have said that you are bereft of all royal power, and that is also correct. Not only are you bereft of supremacy over the material world, but even your servants, those who have such attachment to your lotus feet, also give up supremacy over the material world because they consider the material position to be the darkest region, which checks the progress of spiritual enlightenment. Your servants do not like material supremacy. So what to speak of you, my dear Lord? Your statement that you do not act as an ordinary person with a particular aim in life is also perfectly correct. Even your great devotees and servants, known as great sages and saintly persons, remain in such a state that no one can get any clue as to the aim of their lives. Human society considers them crazy and cynical. Their aim of life remains a mystery to the common human being. The lowest of mankind can know neither you nor your servants. A contaminated human being cannot even imagine the pastimes of you and your devotees, O unlimited one. When the activities of your devotees remain a mystery to the common human beings, how can your motives and endeavors be understood by them? All kinds of energies and opulences are engaged in your service, but they still rest at your shelter.
Oh, thank you. That was very nice. Sorry, Archana, we lost you there for a minute. So Jigna took over. She finished it in.
Thank you.
Archana Aravinda's just come in there, and this is Rukmini now, and she's revealing her understanding, her very high and pure meaning transparent. When one is pure, one becomes transparent. One sees things as they are. Like, this world is imperfect. Yet in the Upanishads, they say Om Purnam Adha Purnamidam, that everything from the all perfect is perfect as well. Whatever comes from the perfect, supreme, absolute truth is perfect. So even though this world appears to be imperfect, it's perfectly imperfect. You see? How about that one, Charna Aravinda? Perfectly imperfect. Who can tell me what I mean by this world is perfectly imperfect?
It's not perfect.
Yeah, but it's not perfect. It's true, but why is it perfectly imperfect?
Is it, I don't know, is it because the way Krishna, the Lord, designed it that way?
Yes.
I don't know what else to say. He
Okay,
designed it in
Namrata, take over. Save him.
I think he knows.
he designed it in such a way that I don't know. I'm forgetting. I lost my train of thought.
He
Sorry.
designed it in such a way that the Maya acts upon one and we find it difficult and therefore we want to go back to him. Otherwise, if we had everything perfect according to what we think, then we would never be spiritual and Krishna conscious.
Oh, give her a big clap for that one.
Yeah, we wouldn't want to go back to
Well
Godhead.
done.
She must be a lawyer or something to say something like that. So yes, anybody else can say something about this. Jigna.
Yes, I was going to say the same. The world is like a prison, so that's what makes it imperfect, but it's meant to be like that, like Namrata said, so that we can realize that we can get out of this prison and go back to our real home.
Yes,
Which is perfectly perfect.
Archana.
No, I mean, I just
You'll just
understand
make
now better. Yeah.
you'll just make the perfect Bakris. I understand. Jai Prakash.
I don't think there's anything more to add to that.
No, there's a lot more to add to that. I'm asking you.
I think,
All
well,
right, I'll give you a hint. Karma.
yeah, karma. Mm. It's basically all our actions in this world will result in a reaction, and it can be good or bad depending on what your actions are. So, I mean, it's like all your actions that you've had is like cooking a meal, and then when you go to a restaurant, you end up being served, but you can't be served what you cook. You'll be served what you cook, basically. As a result, that's my sort of understanding.
Okay, that's good enough. That's good enough. Okay, so Chana Ravinda, anything else, Prabhu, to add? The perfect, this perfect imperfect world, perfectly imperfect.
If it was so perfectly perfect, we would be in Vaikuntha.
No, that's imperfectly perfect.
But yeah, perfectly perfect. There has to be a difference. There has to be a difference.
So the perfection is that, as Jigna has said as well, that this world is a durga. Durga means difficult. Dura means difficult. Durashraya, bad or bad. Durashraya means bad shelter. Bad, difficult. Hard. To go. Difficult to go, this world. It's difficult to go through this world. It's difficult to get out of this world. Therefore, in the third chapter of the Gita, seventh chapter, text 14, Krishna says, Daivi hi esha guna mahi mama maya duratyaya. Dura, again, dur. It's very difficult to get free from this influence of the three modes of nature and to get over this material world. But mameva ye prabhadyante mayametam tarantite. You can taranti, cross over it easily if you mameva ye prabhadyante, we surrender to him, to surrender to Krishna and to become his devotee. Manmana bhavamad bhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru. These are all nice shlokas in the Gita to help support these statements. So the first issue is that this world is designed as a prison house for rebellious souls who don't want to stay with Bhagwan. They want to try to become God in their own way, to enjoy, to be the Purusha. So it's designed, so it's perfectly designed, but it's designed perfectly to be imperfect. But within the imperfection, there is perfection as well. So within this imperfect world, there's a perfect arrangement of karma, so that whatever's going on is all perfect, because it's under the perfect law of karma, which is created by the all-perfect Lord. So the perfect law of karma, it actually everything is going on is perfect, but we are missing it because we are rebelling. Once we surrender to the Lord fully, even good bad things happen. We ride with it. We're happy with it because we see everything as perfect. So in this way, Om Purnamada Purnamidam. There's that verse in the Upanishad. So a little bit about that we discussed. Okay, let's go to Ramesh by now for the next part. No?
You have
Oh.
described yourself penniless, but this condition is not poverty, since there is nothing in existence but you don't need to possess anything. You yourself are everything, unlike others. You don't you don't require to purchase anything extraneously. With you, all contemporary things can be exist because you are absolutely. You do not possess anything, but no one is richer than you. In the material world, no one can be rich without possessing, since your lordship is absolutely. You can exert the contradiction of possessing nothing, but at the same time being the richest. In the Vedans it is stated that although you have no material hand and legs, you accept everything offered in devotion by the devotee. You have no material eyes and ear, but still you can see and hear everything everywhere. Although you don't possess anything, the great demigod who accept prayer and worship from other come and worship you to solicit your mercy. How can you be categorized among the poor?
Jai.
Jai. Okay, Jai Prakash, go ahead, Prabhu.
My dear Lord, you have also stated that the richest section of human society does not worship you. This is also correct because persons who are puffed up with material possession think of utilizing their property for sense gratification. When a poverty-stricken man becomes rich, he makes a program for sense gratification due to his ignorance of how to utilize his hard-earned money. Under the spell of external energy, he thinks that this money is properly employed in sense gratification and thus he neglects to render your transcendental service. My dear Lord, you have stated that persons who possess nothing are very dear to you. Renouncing everything your devotee wants to possess, I see, therefore, that a great sage like Narad Muni, who does not possess any material property, is still very dear to you, and such persons do not care for anything but your lordship.
Jai.
Okay, Krishna.
My dear Lord, you have stated that a marriage between persons equal in social standing, beauty, riches, strength, influence, and renunciation can be a suitable match. But this status of life can be possible only by your grace. You are the supreme perfectional source of all opulences. Whatever opulent status you may have is all derived from you. As described in the Vedanta Sutra, Janmadi Asya Yataha, you are the supreme source from which everything emanates, the reservoir of all pleasures. Therefore, persons endowed with knowledge desire only to achieve you and nothing else. To achieve your favor, they give up everything, even the transcendental realization of Brahman. You are the supreme ultimate goal of life. You are the reservoir of all interests of the living beings. Those who are actually well motivated desire only you. For this reason, they give up everything to attain success. They therefore deserve to associate with you. In the society of the servitors and served in Krishna consciousness, One is not subjected to the pains and pleasures of material society, which function. Everyone, whether man or woman, should seek to be an associate in your society of servitors and served. You are the supreme personality of Godhead. No one can excel you, nor can anyone come up to an equal level with you. The perfect social system is that in which you remain in the center, being served as the supreme, and all others engage as your servitors. In such a perfectly constructed society, everyone can remain eternally happy and blissful.
Very nice. Archana, carry on.
My Lord, you have stated that only the beggars praise your glories, and that is also perfectly correct. But who are the beggars? The beggars are all exalted devotees, liberated personalities, and those in the renounced order of life. They are all great soul devotees who have no other business than to glorify you. Such great souls forgive even the worst of offenders. These so-called beggars execute their spiritual advancement in life, tolerating all tribulations in the material world. My dear husband, do not think that I accepted you as my husband out of my inexperience. Actually, I followed all these great souls. I followed the path of these great big beggars and decided to surrender my life unto your lotus feet.
Very nice. Chan Aravinda Prabhu.
You have said that you are penniless, and that is correct. For you distribute yourself completely to those great souls and devotees. Knowing this fact perfectly well, I reject even such great personalities as Lord Brahma and King Indra. My Lord, the great time factor acts under your direction only. The time factor is so great and powerful that within moments it can affect devastation anywhere within the creation. Considering all these factors, I thought Jarasandha, Sisupala, and similar princes who wanted to marry me to be no more important than ordinary insects.
Yes, she was comparing the powerful Jarasandha and these great princes and kings to be like an ant or a spider or some grub, a tiny grub, you know, in the garden. Okay, so we've come to the end of that reading, and just as I was saying to Jai Prakash earlier on with Chan Ravinda, that yesterday I got to visit Archana. I visited her home, and we presented her with the box of Srimad Bhagavatam as promised last week. So now she's as well as everyone else here, she's now a proud owner of
Srimad Bhagavatam set.
Bhagavatam.
Yay.
And her husband promised me he's got a huge TV screen there, and he said, yeah, I will promise I'll watch it 10 minutes less every day. and devote that 10 minutes to the Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay, so we'll see you all next week for more exciting stories from the Krishna book. Hare
Hare
Bol.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji.
Oh,
Thank you.
There's a chat there. Apologies. Yes. Yes, that's right. 12 pound. Thank you. We found it. Yes, we all read. Okay,
Krishna.
so we'll see you soon. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Yay.
Haribo.
All glories to Srimad Bhagavatam.
Jai.
Oh.
Hare Bol.
Yay.